What's going on, guys? Crypto Renegade here again with another video for you. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about something very important. If you're new to Bitcoin or if you've been using Bitcoin for a while, today we're talking about what are Bitcoin mixers and why do you need one. So stay tuned, you are not going to want to miss it. All right, guys, welcome back. So before I jump into the topic at hand today, firstly, I just wanted to shout out that as of my previous video that I filmed, Bitcoin was just barely breaking out of the all-time high of 20,000, and I think it was at about 22,000, give or take, the last time I shot this video. As of shooting this video today, Bitcoin has now broken over $37,000. So it is almost doubled in just a few short weeks, and that is really exciting. So just wanted to give a shout out to Bitcoin, which appears to be unstoppable right now. So today I wanted to talk about Bitcoin mixers, what they are, why they're important, and the purpose of a Bitcoin mixer is to keep all of your Bitcoin transactions private. Now, you'd think Bitcoin by itself is anonymous as it currently is, but it's actually pseudonymous, which is not completely private and it can be tracked, but typically you want to make sure that things are a lot more private, not just to try to hide your own transactions, but for your own protection and your own privacy. Let's consider the following. Recently, Ledger, if you're familiar with my videos or you're familiar with the industry, Ledger recently announced that their database of all the customer information that they had, names, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, even Bitcoin wallet addresses, if you happen to be a partner with them or what have you, have all been leaked to the dark web. They initially announced that it was hacked in the summer of 2020, but now it's actually been announced that it's been leaked to the dark web. So initially that doesn't sound that important. However, consider the following. If your information such as your physical address, your phone number, your email has been leaked to these people, they already know that you're associated with Bitcoin. What would it possibly take for them to go to your physical address and intimidate you and hold you for ransom or try to hold you at gunpoint to withdraw and transfer your private keys to them? There's a lot of dangers that are unintentional when companies or governments or agencies or what have you gather personally identifiable information that have a lot of unintended consequences. Exchanges, centralized exchanges do this a lot as well. So if you've ever used Coinbase, if you've ever used Binance, if you've ever used any Bitcoin on or off ramp that's collected your personal information known as KYC, your information is out there and it's specifically tied to your Bitcoin address. So this is just an example, or the most relevant example, of why Bitcoin privacy is so important. It's not just for your own personal safety, but it's extremely important that you keep in mind that having your transactions anonymized is really more for your own protection more than anything else. Obviously, it's not the intention of any centralized company or any government agency to use this for bad information, but a lot of the hackers will be attracted to that information and then want to use it against you. So it's really for your own benefit and your own privacy that you have this, in addition to privacy being a fundamental human right, but I digress. So what do you do and what is a Bitcoin mixer? Bitcoin mixer allows you essentially to send your Bitcoin to a mixer, which ultimately takes a batch of users' transactions, mixes them together, and thereby blocking the address. Because if I send a Bitcoin from my address to your address, and if I send exactly 5 Bitcoin from wallet A to wallet B, people can track and say, oh, now if I know that my wallet address is tied to me personally, Crypto Renegade, then you can go through and see all my transactions, and you can use companies like Chainalysis or other things as well to personally identify that information, because I've already supplied my personal identifiable information using Binance or using Coinbase as an example, whatever. So you want to make sure that these transactions are privatized, and that's the purpose of a Bitcoin mixer. Now, a lot of these are open source, and in a follow-up video that I'm doing shortly, I'm going to give you the top 3 Bitcoin mixers that I personally use. So this is open source, which means it's free to use. However, the cost or benefit of doing this is that you're going to have to pay 2 transaction fees, one from your original address to the mixer, and there can be certain time delays there to obfuscate your address. There could be certain holding patterns, mixing between several addresses, and then the second transaction is going to go to your destination wallet address, whether it be your own wallet in a new one, or if you're sending to someone else and you want to protect both of you in terms of sending and receiving that Bitcoin. So it's very imperative that you do this. Now, obviously, by sending 2 transactions, the transaction fees are going to be a bit higher, but in my opinion, it's definitely worth it, not only for your own privacy, but for your own protection. Additionally, you can put time delays in there. So if someone's trying to track the timestamps on the blockchain and look at your particular address and say, okay, wallet A sent this at 3 p.m. and it arrived at 4 p.m. at this address, what a delay does is it allows you to send your Bitcoin to the pool or the mixer, and you can choose your time delay depending on if you want it for a couple of hours, couple of days, or even a few weeks before it actually delivers to the destination address. And it actually goes through several different wallet addresses, making it virtually impossible for authorities or for onlookers or anything else that's analyzing the blockchain and trying to track you down. It's virtually impossible for them to be able to track you. So this is a very powerful tool. Now, I'm gonna get some naysayers and people in here that are saying, well, what about criminals and what about drug traffickers and things of that nature? Well, privacy can be used for good and for bad, but really it's for your own protection. It's really protecting you not against just the government, but it's protecting you from people that want to do you harm, people that want to steal your Bitcoin, or people that potentially have nefarious goals in mind. But ultimately, it's worth it in my opinion, especially if you're sending large transactions, especially if you don't want anyone to know that you own Bitcoin as the price goes up. You probably don't want a lot of people knowing that you have those kinds of funds, and if so, where you store them, how you store them, what the wallet address is, etc. So I just wanted to point out that there are some really key pieces to making sure that you're staying private with your Bitcoin wallet addresses. And in the next video, I'm going to give you my top 3 Bitcoin mixers that I use in some various wallets that have those built in. This is another reason why I'm also a huge fan of privacy coins like Dash, Monero, Zcash. I'm always a huge fan of those privacy coins because a lot of these coins have it built into the network and into those specific blockchains as well. So going back to wrapping this up in terms of Bitcoin, using a Bitcoin mixer has various benefits to doing this, not only for your own protection, but for the protection of the person that you're sending to, and making sure that you're not being tracked online in terms of your finances, and having privacy in all aspects, you know, personal privacy, financial privacy. These are all very important in keeping not only yourself safe, but the people that you care about safe. So just wanted to give that overview of why it's important and why do you need one. A lot of people probably aren't doing this. And again, it's not always a necessity, especially if you're just sending from person A to person B and it's very harmless. But if you're sending to multiple institutions, if you're sending and receiving from payment providers and you don't want to be tracked, this is the safest and the smartest way to go about it. It is worth the extra transaction fee to do that for you. And these are things that I've tested and used multiple times myself to make sure that I'm protected and the people that I'm sending and receiving from are protected as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up here. Go ahead and click this video. This is the next video where I'm gonna show you the 3 best Bitcoin mixers that I'm going to be using and that I've already tested and used myself. And we'll go ahead and wrap this up here. Crypto Renegade out.